Live. It says we are live. All right, let me change that background just because I don't like that. At least let that do a little something. All right, ready? I think we good. Let me go and check.
He just popped up on Crystal's iPad. So
okay, all right. You ready, Coach Bew?
Yep.
Everything sound good? All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to Big Things Kentucky Live. Here we are. We're going to do our 11th region preview show. We got a great show lined up for y'all. We got coaches. We got my man Jared Peck, and we're going to talk about this upcoming 11th region tournament. What's going on, Coach?
What's going on, Coach? We live, baby. Have no fear. Big Things is here. I'm Coach Bew, my man, Coach TV on assignment, Coach Truck. Let's get it.
All right, man. As we know, we've got this 11th region tournament coming up. We got the boys and the girls. Let's see here. I'm trying to get this to show up where they can see it, Coach.
Nope.
Let me see here.
Nah, that's true.
All right, I don't know exactly how to get that to come up. But anyway, we got the girls coming up, man, and then we got the boys. It's been a great run as far as the 11th region goes. The tournaments will start. Coach, help me out, man. I can't get my picture to come up.
The first game start for the girls. The girls will start tomorrow, the 28th. We have our first set of all four girls will be playing tomorrow. At the team that won the district gym, to my understanding, correct, Coach?
Yes, sir. They'll be home.
Yeah. And then we come back with the boys on March the 1st. The boys start. And, of course, the teams that won that district will also be the home team on that side as well. But the girls start tomorrow, then go to the 3rd, and then we're looking at the finals March the 5th at 5 o'clock at EKU, East Kentucky University, and McBriar Arena. Always a good show there, Coach.
All right, Coach. There's the girls' bracket right there. And then here's the boys. No, that's the girls.
The girls again, Coach.
I'm working on it, Coach. I'm working on it. In the meanwhile, while we're working on these technical difficulties, man, any surprises as far as the girls? We'll start on the girls' side since our first guest will be GRC head coach, Coach Glenn Wilson. Great Crossings head coach, Coach Glenn Wilson will be on in a couple of minutes. You know, he took the Great Crossings program, built it from scratch. They won their district, and now they're heading on to the tournament.
Yes, sir. Hey, great showing, Coach, for Great Crossing, who actually is 14-14 on the year, 6-7 in the district. The region, 5-3 in the district. So, Coach, Coach Wilson has these young ladies playing well at the right time, tournament time, which matters more than anything.
Yes, sir. And that's one thing that he has been doing. He came on with us when he first started for the Sweet 16 to talk about, the going into the Sweet 16 and what that takes on. And he had been a long time assistant at Scott County working with them. And then when they split, he came on. And something I like talking to him about is it's interesting how you've seen his program grow as he's been building. And you've seen Scott County just kind of been decimated on both the boys and the girls' side as far as that goes.
Well, as we knew a few years ago when a lot of people was fighting this, we knew that you split the talent pool. And that's big when you come to counties like that, when you used to having access to all the best talent, and then everybody else kind of stepped to the wayside. So now you have these two high schools that were kind of powerhouse, kind of even, and you see Great Cross take a little slight lead in the league when it comes to as far as the big time schools there.
Yes, sir. Well, we're gonna go ahead and bring Coach Glenn in right now since he's here. They don't need a waiting. We go, Coach. What's going on with you, Coach?
Oh, not much. How y'all doing?
All right, Coach. Thanks for joining us today, man. Congratulations on a great season so far. as you head into regions. Coach, for my first question is 14-14 on the year, 6-7 in the region, 5-3 in your district. Man, what did you have to do to get these young ladies clicking and ready to get roller come tournament time?
Man, it's been an emotional roller coaster this year, man. We had our ups and our downs. We just told them, when you come to postseason, it's a whole new season. So, it's like a one-game series. And, either you come show up or it's over with.
Very true, very true. Now, who has been leading your team this season, Coach?
Well, we've been leading by our senior, one of our seniors, Timmy Williams, 5'8" guard. She's been usually our second. She was a leading scorer last year. The first year, she was the second leading scorer. She's made all 11 region team last year and all 11 region this year. And our second leading scorer, actually, she's out now, Rachel Smith. She was averaging 15 points a game as well. And she's out. She's been out for the last 6 games. She was our starting point guard. So, we're really missing her and had to adapt without her being in.
Now, Coach, man, this is your first time playing Henry Clay this year. They got a new coach over there, a different system. What are you looking forward to? What do you need to do to beat Henry Clay?
Well, I mean, they're very athletic. They got the Williams girls inside. She's great from anywhere in the paint she can score from. She does probably one of the best players we've seen this year with her back to the basket that can finish well inside. They got some shooters. Number one thing we do is concentrate on ourselves. Number one, we got to take care of the basketball. 2, we got to rebound the ball. And 3, we got to put the ball in the hole. That's been our throwing in the side all year long, not doing one of those 3 things. In the district championship against Franklin County, we did 2 of those 3 things, but we couldn't put the ball in the hole. So I think if we come out and we can do those 3 things, that'll give us opportunity, a chance to win the ball game.
Now, what has impressed you about these young ladies so far this year? Like I said, you had your ups and downs. And like I said, of course, we're rounding up right now. What's impressed you most about these young ladies this season?
They always work hard, no matter what. When we have our ups and downs, they always come out and, give 100% on the court. I always can count on that, no matter what. Where if we turn the ball over or not rebound or not shooting the ball well, they always give 100% effort.
Now, I know you got to be excited. This is still a fairly young team. Like I said, I think you led by Timothy there. We averaged over almost 13 points a game. So who else are you leaning on besides her to get you all over the hump?
Well, we're leaning on our junior, 6-foot junior forward. Her name is Reagan Barrett. She's been averaging, about 8 or 9 points a game. But here in the tournament time, she had one first game. She had 19 against Franklin County. She had 14. And then another guard, 4 we got is Ava Skierman. So both of them got to have big games. If they got to score points in the interior, I think that'll help us big time.
Now, quick turnaround to get ready for Monday. So did you have practice today, and what all you looking for?
Well, what do you
got to do?
We actually came in on Saturday yesterday and got a bunch of shots up. Came in today and then a little game planning. See which direction we can go. So, we hope we come in focused and ready to go. That's another big issue we've been having this year, staying focused. I think if we can stay focused for 32 minutes, man, they'll give us a shot to win the ball game.
Absolutely. I'll cut Coach Truck back off.
Yeah, I was just making sure I had things on. I'm pretty sure we on. I want to make sure. I was trying to share and everything. I couldn't find it on Facebook.
Yeah, it popped up. My wife came across her iPad. It did.
Okay. Coach, now the biggest thing in this is, the Franklin County team is kind of like the big bad monster in the region on the girls' side. Now they have shown that, they haven't taken any steps back. How do you contend with that as far as when you're in this regional tournament?
You got to do everything right when you play against them, man. A district game, we play against them. We like I said, the 3 things that I mentioned earlier: take care of the ball, rebounding, and finishing. We did 2 of the 3. We couldn't finish, but they got so many different weapons. They got inside and outside. They had a kid that averaged 4.5 points a game. She came in, name is Hogan, hit 5 threes in the championship game, scored 17 points. So, we wasn't counting on that. So they just got so many weapons, man, and they can hit you in so many different areas.
Okay.
That's
Well,
true.
Coach Bew, man, like I said, one thing we did want to talk about though briefly was, about how when this split happened, you started from zero, and now here you are, you're winning your district and you're building a program. And then we've seen on the other side how they kind of taken a step back almost. How is it things as far as in the county dealing with that?
Well, first of all, we didn't win our district. We got Franklin County in our district. We can't run her up in district.
They got him Clay. Clay.
Okay.
Yeah. But well, it's just it matter about what kids go. We knew that down the stretch, somewhere down the road, that once this split happened, one team was gonna go one way, one team was gonna go the other. We just been fortunate enough that to have some success this year.
Okay. Coach, anything you got for Coach, man? As far as this goes, getting ready for this.
Hey man, I'm proud, Coach Wilson, man. Great job you done in your short time there with a brand new program, man. Sky's the limit for you. Like I said, it's funny we had you on the first year talking about it and stuff. Pandemic hit and stuff, and then like I say, you get another full year. So congratulations to you and the ladies on what you've done so far.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, Coach, anything you want to share before you get out of here coaching, and the location, letting everybody know what they need to do, what they need to bring to the game, Coach, whatever you can help, Coach.
Hey, just come out tomorrow night at Henry Clay High School at 7 o'clock and support the Lady Warhawks.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, appreciate you guys too.
Thank you. All right, Coach Bew. Now, looking at that bracket real quick, you know what I'm saying? Is there anybody that kind of stands out to you that may challenge, you think, the mighty Franklin County team?
Coach, I ain't gonna lie. Madison Southern looks good. They won their district. They won the 44th district. But, Coach, somebody you been speaking about early on in the season, Lafayette, led by
Coach Denton.
Yeah, Coach Denton. Yeah,
and Amelia.
What's the young lady's name? Who's the lead
Amelia
scorer?
Brown.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You spoke about them, and I think that's going to be the team to give them a run. I want to see my defenders beat them in the first round. Go defend the kingdom with Coach Sandusky. But if they don't, I think Lafayette can give them a run. And don't count out Henry Clay if they get past Great Crossing tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Henry Clay, man, I just want to give a shout out to Henry Clay and the coach. She really kept grinding, and like she said, it was her first year implementing her program and everything, and it was interesting to see how the girls took, but she's done a lot, man.
Man, the biggest thing, Coach Gerard is navigating through the politics of high school sports, especially coming from a small county in Paris. It's only 15 minutes down the road, and coming up here to Lexington to take over. So that says a lot about her and what she's done, I'm just you got to take your hats off to her and what she's done, and she's only got one senior in Kennedy Williams, so that says a lot about Coach Garrett. I mean, to do it with such a little bit of talent, such a young team, man, that says a lot about her.
It does. It very does,
and her staff as well.
We got in a couple minutes, hopefully we'll have Coach Moseley joining us from the Frederick Douglass Broncos, who had a great game against Henry Clay at the 42nd District Championships. And we were there for that one. And man, I just want to say, man, shout out to Lexington. That gym was packed, Coach. I mean, it was packed. It was a great game across the board. And it went into overtime, man. And Frederick Douglass, who started off slow, Coach was rebuilding. And here they are, third time winning the district.
That'd be Coach Moses' second time, I believe, winning the district, correct? Is that his second time?
Yes. Okay, yes, second time.
So, man, shout out to Coach for that. I'm telling you what, to come in and take up a team that had the talent that he's had last year, to lose the talent he lost, and to turn around and be young again this year, I mean, I don't think he has any senior that's really averaging a lot of minutes or points. He's led by two juniors and a freshman. Of course, they're all standouts. He's led by freshman Armello Boone, a.k.a. Mello, Then he's led by a couple other young gentlemen, like I said, juniors. The Barrett kid who's had a heck of a year so far, and he's led by Kai. I think it's Kai. Kai Simpson. Kai Simpson's leading. They're the top two scorers. Tyson Barrett's actually 16.3 points a game. And Kai Simpson averaged 13.3. And then right behind him is Armello Boone. And then you got Tylen Webb, football player that came on late. But I'm telling you, they've definitely been impressive over at Fraser Douglas. I told you, Coach, I liked them early on. I thought
you did.
Me subliminal messages when he posted and got me by. Well, you talk about something and then you talk about something, then you get an ad for it on your phone or Facebook. But I'm gonna tell you what, they lived up to the hype and they look really impressive.
All right, man. Coach Mo has joined us. I'm finna bring on Coach Mo. My man, Coach Mo, doing big things. Coach, man, first of all, congratulations on another successful season, Coach. How you keep doing what you're doing, Coach?
Man, we just grind, boss. We just grinding, and the good Lord is blessing us, and we thank Him for everything He's done for us over there. You know, you pray and you study, and that's what we're doing. And my kids have balled in all year, and the motto is we believe, and that's what we've done all year. We believe that we could be right where we are right now this time of year.
Now, Coach, like I said, you've had success last year, your first year here, won a district last year. I guess you lose the talents you lose last year, and you was younger last year as well. Do you feel like this team kind of was right where you thought they would be, or do you feel like you kind of underachieved a little bit or overachieved a little bit, considering you're still young this year?
I think we underachieved to a certain degree, but you got to remember we played the first 3 games of the year. We opened up with Henry Clay, then you play Bryan Station and Troy Place, then you play Lex Cav. We come right out of being at a football school where we're at, considered the football school, but I consider us a school that has great athletes and great sports. And with that being said, that comes with the price. When you're successful across the board athletically, that comes with the price. And the price is you're missing 2 or 3 key components going into your first 3 games. You've got Tylen Webb, you've got Cam Dunn, who played for us, you've got Thomas Howard. All 3 of those guys are football guys. Then you've got, Caden Smoke Johnson, who signed to go to Ball State. Those 4 guys won the state championship football team and all started. Those weren't guys that just wore jerseys. They played integral parts in the football success. So we start off the season very, very shorthanded. And we got punched in the mouth. But those kids like Armello Boone, who was a freshman who I wasn't expecting to be in the starting lineup, now has started almost 31 basketball games. So not only are we looking to win right now, but our future is extremely bright. You got Avion Chenault, who's a freshman, who wasn't supposed to be in the rotation early on, then ends up in the starting lineup at certain parts of the season. So we're starting true freshmen. And we win our district, which is arguably the toughest district in the region.
Coach, man, real quick, for Coach Truck gets it. Another question I'm gonna ask you. You speak about how young you are. Like I say, you led by 2 juniors and Tyson Barrett, probably one of the most dominant players of the state right now as a junior. Then you got Kai Simpson running the show for your point, and you spoke about Armello Boone and Tylen Webb as well. Man, how impressive is to have such young kids leading your team, and then to know you can have all these cats back next year, and the cover's not full empty either.
Well, I think you can't not talk about Shamar Rory Ford in the last 10, 11 games and what he's meant to this basketball team. He comes back for another year, a COVID year, and he had a rough start because he had surgery on his leg. at the end of the season last year, early summer, so he wasn't really fully healthy going into the season. So, he's just coming along and he's leading the way, commanding all the boards on the glass. And then you got Tyson Barrett back there with him, rebounding and blocking shots. And when he's going downhill, he's just a problem to guard.
Yeah.
And Kai Simpson can score at all three levels. You got Armello, he's long, and when he decides he's going to be a defender, he causes havoc out there on the defensive end. So then you got Tylon Webb, who's a junior. You just, and the list goes on. Leighton Harris, who broke his hand before the first game of the season, who just played his third basketball game of the year. So, we've got so many pieces of guys that are coming back next year, but we're just getting healthy. We've just played 2 basketball games with our entire team.
So this is the first, you say just 2 with your complete team?
This is the second game of the year with our complete roster that we picked back October 17th.
Okay, Coach. That's big things, man. Big things. Now, going into this region, like we call it the Wild Wild West, because the 11th region, I don't care what happens. It just seems like there's always, you have to really make sure you show up to get into this regional tournament. We never know what happens. Somebody gets hot. Somebody comes out of nowhere. How do you keep your team focused going through this and handling this grind that is the 11th region?
You got to worry about yourself. You can't worry about what's going on over at Bryan Station or Henry Clay or Tate's Creek or Lafayette or Dunbar, Catholic, or in Richmond at Madison Central, Madison Southern. Or you got to worry about what's going on Winchester Road. We got to worry about what goes on in the confinements of our building, our locker room, and at our gym. And we've got blinders on. We're not concerned with what anybody else is doing. We're solely concerned with ourselves. And that's our message. That's my message to these guys every day. You got to play for each other. We break the huddle with family. No matter what, up or down, it's family. And when you fight for one another as a family, everybody knows, somebody messes with your mother, you'll go to the end of the earth to make sure that that's solved and resolved. And that's how these guys are. They're brothers. They bought into loving one another. I think going to Florida for us was a key component in getting this young group of kids together. We go to Florida. We spend 5 days there, locked in hotel rooms on a long bus ride, going to Disney, just spending time together, bonding and really learning to like each other and learning how to play for one another.
Now, Coach, man, before we get out, what can you tell us about Western Hills, who you have first round over at the farm come 1st of March? What can you tell us about Western Hills?
They've got a really good big guy, number 21. He's him and his brother, number 10. They're going to be tough. They're a really good 2-guard tandem. One's a big, one's the guard. They feed that post. They really feed the post. They got a couple really good shooters. But like I tell everybody this time of year, you've got 8 teams, and all 8 teams are good. You don't make it. You don't make it in the 11th region and not be good. Yes. Records go out the window. This team is 27-2. This team is 16-16. None of that matters. Right now, everybody is 0-0, and the first of 3 gets to Rupp Arena.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's true, Coach. Well said. Well said.
Coach, anything else, man, before we get you out of here? I know you say you've been waiting on us to interview you. I had to make sure I get you on, man. We love what you've been doing there since you've taken over the program. Sky's the limit, man. And like you said, it's a wealth of athletes there at Douglas for sure. Is it something that is there one out there that you like, I really need to get him, but I'm working on?
No, I'm going to be honest with you. I always say this, we lost a couple of kids at this school and that school. I want the kids that want to be there and want to be a part of our program. And those are the kids that become easy to coach and those kids that are willing to buy in to what we're trying to do. And it's all about we. It's not about me. It's not about one individual. It's about we. And when we buy into the we process, I mean, we're a really good basketball team.
And then, Coach, man, real quick to follow up on that. I don't want to keep going past next year. I know you got a long road checking his team. But golly, this freshman team of yours, a lot of them cats played varsity, they did. But your freshman team runs through the city, wins their freshman championship. That's got to be impressive, too. I know you said it back like, oh, boy, I'm about to be on Easy Street here for the next few years.
No, you can't be on Easy Street. You can never take your foot off the gas because when you go to sleep, somebody's always working. I would like to comment on that, though, because so many people talked about how we move this kid down and that kid down to try to win our freshman league or to compete in the freshman, when we played freshmen. But those kids are true freshmen. And they all played freshman basketball when the varsity team wasn't playing. So it was never, we're going to move this kid down and that kid down. But if the freshmen had a game the same night as the varsity, then they didn't play because you could only play two. And a guy like Melo, who's so integral to the varsity program and what we do, I couldn't take a chance on him getting hurt in a freshman game on Tuesday night when he had to play Tuesday at 7:30. But, anytime they played every Saturday just about. So for us, it's not about this kid is a varsity player or whatever. They're freshmen. And so for us, in order to build a program, those kids have to play together. They've got to learn to gel and build camaraderie and understand that, hey, just because you're on varsity right now, don't take anything for granted because that kid that's just playing freshman, he wants your spot too. So you got to keep working. And they got to learn to love each other and like each other and want to play for each other. And that freshman group really does that. They buy into sharing the basketball and they have fun. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting next 4 years. Hopefully, good Lord willing, I'll still be there 3 years from now to see that thing through. But hey, anything can happen. You got to stay healthy. God's got to continue to bless us. You got to get the right draw in this thing too.
Yes, so crucial. Well, Coach, man, like I said, we wish you the best of luck, man. Keep doing big things and get this grind, man. Just, hey, like one coach said, you just got to show up at the right time.
Show up at the right time. I hope the next team's problems are worse than your problems.
Hey, well said, Coach. Well said. Good luck to you all over at the farm, man. Good luck.
All right. Thank you all for having me. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. You too. Thank you.
All right, Coach, man. Up next, we got our man, Professor Peck, Coach. You ready for Professor Peck? Anything you want to touch on real quick before we bring him on?
I'm glad to see my guy. I'm glad to see him. Bring him on, Coach. Bring him on.
All right. Our man, Professor Peck. Yes, sir.
How's it going, guys? Soccer coach extraordinaire. Lexington Herald Leader's greatest reporter. What's going on there, Jared Peck?
Just getting ready for another big week. I'm glad they didn't schedule another wrestling tournament for me.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Are you shocked by the teams that have made it to the districts or region? Are you really surprised? I mean, like I said, like you got Station girls who struggled off and on all year. You got Great Crossing girls who kind of struggled. Henry Clay girls had a pretty good year, but they had a tough schedule. I mean, those three teams got to be a surprise, right?
I think that the way the Bryan Station and Henry Clay came on was a surprise, but I saw everybody play but LCA. And, Henry Clay plays really good defense. Bryan Station plays pretty tough defense. And you got to talk about the Henry Clay girl, Kennedy Williams down low. She is a bucket.
Yes.
She's a bucket. You get it to her, and she's turning, and it's in. So it's going to be hard for a lot of teams to deal with her because there's nobody quite like her that can defend her. Now, Patience Laster and Javin Meade of Franklin County are going to be able to give her trouble. But, a lot of, there are not many girls her size with her touch on the block. They're just not. And then they've got Allie Stone shooting threes. Ayanna Sutton is a really good point guard, and they got another besides that. So, the way Henry Clay has come on has been really fun to see, and that's amazing. And Frederick Douglass girls bowing out was kind of shocking because they were the second, third highest rated team in the division. But it goes to show you that anything can happen. You better bring it on that night. And it's like not many teams can go in and just coast and get something done. It's like everybody's coming. It's time. It's win or go home time.
Now, one thing, that we had talked about was we want to say congratulations to Coach Denton. To my understanding, she got her 400th win.
Yep.
With the Lafayette girls taking the tournament. Now, Lafayette last year, I think they got to the championship game, didn't they, last year?
Yeah, they made the region finals. It was virtually the same team. They lost. One guard didn't come back, and one guard tore her ACL. Their primary shooter tore her ACL in the first game of the season. They lost Lauren Walton early. That's a big blow, and that took him a while to adapt to and to get other players confident beyond the 3-point line, because it was inside to Anaya and then outside to Lauren. It took a while to find the other people that were going to make those shots outside, but Lafayette puts a ton of pressure on you defensively. And they now have shooters that can knock down those shots. Grayson Grants can knock down shots, and Anaya Brown is a Miss Basketball candidate. She's the Region Player of the Year twice over. KABC voted her Region Player of the Year. The 11th Region coaches just voted Region Player of the Year. She's averaging high teens, gets almost 10 boards a game, and she's kind of a versatile wing player, and she can shoot a little bit. She can shoot the three a little bit, and if she gets on the block, she's like Kennedy Williams. It's probably going in, unless you impede her some way. So they've got answers inside and out. It's going to be hard for them to take down Franklin County because Franklin County's been doing it for a long time. And I think you heard earlier, Franklin County found some 3-point shooting as well, and that was their Achilles heel. It was like they really didn't have anybody stepping up knocking down 3-point shots. And if they do now, you'd better get Patience Laster in foul trouble.
Now Lafayette. Now this is my question to you. Two part. One, do you feel like Lafayette is the only one that has a chance to beat Franklin County on a good night, or do you feel like Master Southern is that team that could possibly do it?
Well, I thought Lafayette's matched up with Berea. Berea unfortunately lost their leading scorer to an ACL tear late in the season. So I think Lafayette moves forward there. Henry Clay and Lafayette, if that moves forward is the semifinal game, that's going to be a great game. And I'm interested to see whether Madison Southern, Henry Clay, or Lafayette can hang with Franklin County. They all have the pieces to do it if things go right. And Franklin County can have an off night. It's happened. If they go too fast and they don't play in control, and Nevaeh Carter, if they're not making their threes and people start getting fouls, anybody can be knocked off their game. I think if Franklin County plays the game they want to play, then Franklin County is the favorite to win it. But I wouldn't say that they're favored by 10. I think that they'd have to play everything. They have to have things go their way too. But they've got the pieces to do it, and they've been doing it for so long. They won, 6 out of the last 8 region titles or something like that, something crazy. And that's because Joey Thacker knows what he's doing. And he's had really good players.
Now, on the boys' side, what can we expect out of this regional tournament?
Well, the Henry Clay Lexington Catholic game should be pretty thrilling Tuesday night at Lexington Catholic. You got the 7-footer Reese Potter there. Jack Goman, their quarterback, he runs point at like 6'4", 6'5". I'm gonna hurt him on his height. I'm probably getting his height wrong. And then they've got a kid named John Reinhardt who's just a sophomore. And that kid, when he gets hot, he can fill it up. He can fill it up from downtown. He didn't have a good game against Dunbar, and they had to rally to win that game. But what we saw in that game is, you talked about the atmosphere at Douglas and Henry Clay. We had the same atmosphere for both games over at Lafayette High School, for the girls and for the boys game. The boys game was a little bigger and more insane. And what we showed was that Lexington Catholic can really defend. I mean, they held Dunbar to 12 points in the second half, and they gave up 8 3-pointers in the first half, and they only gave up 1 3-pointer in the second half. So they just clamped everything down and got the lead and held on. And it was Dunbar could have won that game. Dunbar's had some struggles, but Dunbar's also really good. They've got inside out. They've got Spalding and Leno Kwembe down low, and he had 2 dunks early in the game that I shot highlights of. And those were awesome. Dunbar can play really well. And it came down to a scramble for the ball on the last possession. And Dunbar had the ball with, under 15 seconds left. And there was a steal and a scramble for the ball and a jump ball, and the possession arrow went Lexington Catholic's way. So that's what you're going to see this week, is you're going to see insanity. And, Lexington Catholic Henry Clay's game is going to be good. I picked Madison Central to win it all, but Madison Central only goes 5 players deep. They only play those 5 players. The thing is, their 5 are better than your 5, unless somebody gets in trouble. And, what happened to them the other night was they were playing in EKU, and Will Harden had an off night. And Will Harden doesn't usually have off nights. He doesn't go 2 for 15. I wouldn't count on him going 2 for 15 the rest of this week. But that's what kind of killed them against Madison Southern the other night, is Will wasn't making open shots. And he's the Region Player of the Year and a Mr. Basketball candidate. And Madison Central is coached, they run their stuff and usually get what they want. They shoot open threes for a reason. They're running their stuff. They're finding the holes in your defense, and they're making you pay for not paying attention. They do that better than anybody else. Now, we've just found out, they've taken a couple of losses late. They lost to Covenant Catholic late in the season. They lost to Madison Southern in the district finals. They can be had. But if they're playing the way they can play, it's going to be tough to get them out of the tournament.
Man, how do you feel about Frederick? We had Coach Moseley on right before you, and Frederick Douglass, I think, had a great run there. They was kind of on the brink always all year, being really good. So how do you feel about Frederick Douglass' chances of making a run in the region?
Well, unfortunately, I saw them play against Madison Central. Madison Central kind of picked them apart, and I saw them play Henry Clay early when they didn't have Kai Simpson for a protocol issue, I think. And so I haven't seen them play at their best, and they didn't really know what they were running offensively. It was kind of like a helter-skelter game each time that I watched them. And then, I watched them against Bryant Station. And when they started playing well against Bryant Station, they were getting it to Tyson Barrett. They were getting it inside out. And Kai Simpson was making threes, and Amarella Boone was making threes. And it's like when they make shots, and that Bryant Station game, another game with a great atmosphere.
Yes.
They got hot, and it became just a fireball that nobody could stop. And, we've been waiting for that Douglas team all season. They've been, like he said, they've been hurt all year. They haven't had their whole team all year. But when they have their speed and they have the defense going and they got the rebounding going, it's like, who's going to get down there with Shamari Ford and Tyson Barrett for rebounds? Tyson Barrett can practically jump over the backboard for a rebound.
Yes.
I know you probably.
And there's no exaggeration about what you're saying.
When he gets up, he gets up, and he goes. So, I think it's just been the matter of them not having all their pieces, not having their stuff, honed to they haven't been able to run 5 guys in their offense. Like Madison Central played the same 5 guys for the last 2 years. They know their offense backwards and forwards. They can call all their own plays. I don't think Frederick Douglass has benefited from that problem with running a younger team with freshmen and stuff. I mean, it takes a little while to get that honed down where you run your stuff. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the fourth quarter against Bryan Station, they were running their stuff. They were playing their defense, and they were knocking down shots. And they were unstoppable. It was really amazing. And you saw what they did against Henry Clay. They don't give up. They 7 points down with 53 seconds to go. That game should have been over. And they didn't give up. Steal, three-pointer steal, bucket, tie game. Got down 3 in overtime. Still came back and won it.
Now, Jared, another team.
They got heart.
Now, another team we also kind of wanted to talk about was Dunbar and Brian and Douglas are kind of like mirror images of each other, you would say, in that they kind of started slow and now they're starting to kind of click. Do you see them doing anything in this? How do you see the Dunbar team performing? I know he said when he started the season, this was not the team he thought he was going to get when he got the job.
No. I think they've adapted really well to losing Tim Hall Jr. to transfer. I think that their two big guys down low, Shaheem Drew and Lionel, are doing their thing, and they're running the pick and rolls for them where they're getting those layups that you need. Nick Spalding is a sensational player. He's a sensational guard, and he will shoot from anywhere. And, he made lots of big shots the other night, and he made a big shot to get them into triple overtime against Henry Clay a week ago. It's like, if you leave him open for a 3-pointer, you better just take the ball out, because he's going to knock down. If you leave him open, he's going to knock down that 3-pointer more times than not. And they got Max Van Dyke and other kid I can't remember right now, but I mean, there are no easy outs in the 11th region. Anybody can hit hot. Everybody's record is kind of garbage right now. Everybody's around 500 except Lexington Catholic, and even Madison Central record's not fantastic. But Lexington Catholic is the only one that has a record that's up there. But nobody wants to play these teams. Nobody. Do you want to go to Great Crossing where the freshman Malachi Marino is 7 foot and just swatting everything? It's like they can be a bear, and they've got – and same with Madison Southern. You think that Madison Central was going to win the 44th. You think they're going to win the 44th. They didn't win the 44th. Madison Southern did.
Now, speaking of Madison Southern, we got Coach Austin Newton on. You want to join us with him? You want to join us? All
That's fine. He can tell me how he beat that other team down there.
Coach, Coach Jared was just saying, how did you pull this one off, Coach?
What's going on, guys?
What's going on? First of all, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having me on.
I guess the first question, like Jared says, how did you pull this off, Coach?
I heard him talking, and he talked about Will Harden going 2 for 15, so that definitely had a lot to do with it. But I would credit that to our defense. I thought we had a really good defensive plan, and we know those guys, and they know us better than anybody, and we play against them all summer. And, of course, being rivals, we knew them pretty good, and we felt great about our game plan. But our defense won that game for us, and we've known over the years playing them, they're so fundamental. Coach Feldhouse is so good. They're not going to give you the game. You have got to go take the game from them. And that's what we did. We just went and took it with our defense.
I didn't mean any disrespect, Coach, but
I know.
Will Harden tends to find the holes in the defense, and you didn't give him those holes. So credit to your guys.
Will Harden he's a top 5 high school basketball player that I've ever seen as far as his IQ and just he's so crafty. He's got an old school game. We have a ton of respect for him, and for us to keep him in check like we did, it was a credit to our defense.
Now, Coach, like we say, the 11th region is the Wild Wild West. What's your plan going into this tournament?
So our best plan is to host a first-round home game, which we've never done here at Madison Southern. Of course, they changed the format there 2 or 3 years ago, but Madison Southern's only won the 44th district. This was our 3rd time in school history to win that. So having that home game means everything to us. So we're going to try to get this place rocking. We've been watching Dunbar and scouting, obviously, but we really like our team. We like the makeup of our team. We like how we're playing right now. We've only won 20 games 3 times in school history, and we just achieved that with that win against Madison Central. We got the 20 wins, won a district tournament. So our next goal is to win a game in the 11th region tournament, which has never been done in Madison Southern. So we got a lot on the line for Tuesday night. We're going to try to make it a really great atmosphere and try to make history.
That coach, man, congratulations once again on a great year. Like I said, Jared was talking about you. You got your own stud yourself in Jay Rose, averaging almost 22 points a game, followed by Braden Hudson. Who else are you leaning on this team?
Yeah, so Jay Rose is a very, very talented offensive player. He actually set the school record for points in a game a few weeks ago with 48 against Model. He's had several games in the mid to high 30s, and we've really needed him to score. And he's just, his game is growing. He's a holdback sophomore, and the sky really is the limit for him. He's starting to understand the right shots and the right plays, and he's really going to have a great next couple of years here in our region. And then you mentioned Braden Hudson, who has been really good for us. He's got a twin brother named Zach Hudson, who actually broke his wrist the second game of the year, and Zach came back our last game of the regular season here. So literally got cleared on a Thursday at 4:00 and then played in a game the next day, which was our last game of the regular season. And those two twins I call them the twin Bulldogs. They do a lot for our team. They score. They guarded the best players from Madison Central the other night. They are just gritty. And if you get a chance to watch them play, you'll really like to watch how they compete. They can't stand to lose. So those getting Zach Hudson back, the brother of Braden's been great for us all year, but those two guys can really play. And then we've had a freshman point guard step in named Kason Nobby, who got to see a lot of time here with Zach Hudson being out. So he's really matured into just a really smart ball handler and runs our offense. And then forgot to mention, we got 3 big guys, all 6'6", all different in what they do. So we really like our team and our personnel heading into this regional tournament.
All right, Coach, man. Anybody else got anything for Coach before we let him go?
But hey, Coach, before you leave, I'm gonna ask you this too, Jared. Before we leave, Coach, I ain't gonna lie, me and Coach Truck have been back and forth about this. Coach, is it time for a shot clock in high school basketball? I gotta ask. Y'all both can answer. I need that. Me and Coach Truck have argued about this back and forth.
You just won't let it go, will you?
Nope, I ain't gonna let it go. No, we got that on her. Plus, somebody asked that question. I gotta ask both these gentlemen. Coach,
I'm in favor of it. I played college basketball at EKU. I coached it, so I have a college background, and I'm comfortable coaching with it. I don't see any more. You'll find it every now and then where a team tries to take the air out of the ball. Like our score against Madison Central the other night was 48-43, but it was just really good defense and a very heated district game. I think watching Lexington Catholic and Dunbar, I think it was the same way. You didn't see two teams like trying to hold the ball and stall. Like it was still an exciting game, even though there wasn't a lot of points scored. So I think a lot of people think that there's still a lot of that. Hey, we're just gonna go out here and hold the ball for the whole game.
See, that's my opinion, Coach. And I'm sorry, I feel like everybody's like, oh, the shot clock. But I'm like, man, first of all, there's a lot of, I'm not gonna say bad teams, but there's a lot of basketball that needs to be taught, and you guys are teaching a lot. As far as really, you get a lot of kids, they play AAU. They come from that, that style of ball. And so you're almost teaching them team ball in some aspects. So I feel like the shot clock is just kind of like rushing. It's making you rush what you're trying to teach them. And so I'm kind of like, and I don't see a lot of people doing, like he said, I don't see people doing 4 corners. Yeah, nowadays, everybody wants to shoot the 3.
You know where Coach teaches his kids at? Practice. Doing the summer, doing the school year. So the game, let's get it rolling. Let's get going. Either you gonna say Coach. Tell him, Coach.
I say, whatever the rules are, the rules are. I mean, if they make a shot clock, they'll deal with it. It's going to be a logistical nightmare. It's going to be a problem every single game because the shot clock hasn't been reset or whatever. And at a high school game, that's just chaos. It's just more reasons for the fans to yell at you. That's my problem with it. I think one more thing to make fans get upset with the officials is not a great thing. And that's what the shot clock is to me. I watch a lot of basketball. I don't watch as much basketball as Coach Newton probably, but I watch a lot of basketball, and I don't see many teams holding the ball for a minute just to run the clock out. Now, I'm not saying I've never seen that. I've seen it. I've seen it this year. I've seen them hold the ball for the last possession. But I also see Lexington Catholic Dunbar game the other night when they had the opportunity to just hold that ball. No, they held it for a second, called a play, ran the play, and let the other team have the ball back. And they didn't have to do that. You don't have to do that at all. The answer to that problem is pressure the guy and get a 5-second call, because that 5-second rule isn't still in effect, isn't it?
Hey, thank you, Jared.
So just guard. If you don't want the time to run out, sometimes the reason why those clock is running out is because the other coach wants his team to rest too. And it's like, I'll take a break too so they can breathe. But most of the time it's, you hold up 2 fingers or 1 finger or thumb or fist, play, other side. Let's go.
I think I'm right with Coach Newton on this. Me and Coach Newton right. Y'all wrong.
I do. The end of game strategy from college to high school, like as a high school coach, if there's 2 minutes left and I'm up 4, like I'm telling my guys, hey, we don't have to shoot. Like we can run this thing down. If you trust your ball handlers and you trust your guys to make good plays, like we literally may go into stall mode with 2 minutes left. And I know a lot of high schools do that. And then in college, you just can't. You gotta get a shot up. So I think that's where it really comes into play. If you like your team and you like your ball handlers in high school, you can literally go into stall mode with 2 or 3 minutes left and say, hey, we don't have to shoot if you don't want to. So I think that's where the biggest change would come.
Have you been comfortable with that every year, Coach?
No. I'm getting there. This team right here, I'm slowly with about a minute left. I was like, okay, we don't have to shoot, but 2 or 3 minutes out, we need to still try to run some stuff.
Now, Coach, I did have a video that I wanted to play for you, but I couldn't get it to upload. But earlier yesterday, we talked with Coach Nimbo Hammonds, and he was talking about his youth program. And he had some great things to say about you. And he said that, his dark horse for the region was you, because he said he knows the time that you put in and what you give to your program. And he was very, glowing and talking about your program and how you do. So we just wanted to relay that to you, Coach, and let you know that, if Coach Nimbo gave you a dark horse, I might have to be riding with you, Coach.
I think the world of Coach Nimbo. I've known him for a long time, and I appreciate him saying that. And this is my 4th year as the coach at Madison Southern. We really had tried to grow our youth league. We had over 400 kids participating in a youth league down here in Berea, Kentucky. And we do think that, getting them started at that young age and taking it serious and giving them uniforms that say Future Eagles on it and just doing all those things to make them want to come to games and, care about the program. So, and I think all those kids coming to see us beat Madison Central the other night, that gives them something to look forward to when they grow up and go to high school at Madison Southern.
Good stuff.
Coach. Well, good luck, Coach, man. And anybody else got anything for Coach before we let him go?
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Coach Newton. Good luck to you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me on. You guys did a great job.
Good luck to you.
Well, Jared, man, Professor Peck, doing what you're doing, man. I know this is finna be a stretch run for you right now, coming up with these regions and then the Sweet 16 and everything else. How do you prepare yourself for this? Just kind of give us how you do what you do.
Coffee and
well, I covered 2 games on Friday night and then drove across town and did 2 interviews for the other 2 games on Friday night. And I previewed the entire state and who I thought would win every region in the state. That is in the Sunday Herald Leader today. It's online at Kentucky.com right now. You can see how wrong I am. Just go on there. I've already been wrong once today because Notre Dame got upset in the 9th region today in the girls' tournament. Ryle, who got beat by Notre Dame by 29 2 weeks ago, beat them by 2 today in the region.
Now, how is the Ryle team?
They're fine, but, I mean, they weren't all season they weren't as good as Notre Dame. Notre Dame beat Clark County. Notre Dame had stood toe-to-toe with, Sacred Heart and some other teams. But there was nothing in the indications they have 3 players that average double figures, and they've had a nice season. But drawing Notre Dame was a tough draw, and they stood up to it today. So, and they've got the pedigree for that because they're a state champion and would have been maybe been a state champion again if not for COVID. So, yeah, I mean, but they weren't the favorite coming out of that region. They weren't even the second best team for the regular season coming out of that region, and they're alive. They're alive today and still kicking.
Now, how I know Coach you want to know this too, though.
Yeah.
How much of a favorite are the 2 GRC teams going into the boys and the girls team? I mean, they've been dominant pretty much the whole season.
I would say that George Rogers Clark likes their chances against any team they would face. I think that it's not a given that they can beat Male. It's not a given they could beat a Ballard again if Ballard's there. The good thing it is that Male and Ballard have to knock each other out. So, Covenant Catholic, those will be phenomenal games when we get there. Jerome Morton is a phenomenal player. If he hadn't reclassified this and he kind of regrets it, he would be Mr. Basketball. He would be the front runner for Mr. Basketball this year, no doubt. But he's a junior, so he's going to be in Reed Shepard's class. And he's going to get plenty of looks because he is such a phenomenal player. And they've added Tanner Walton. Trent Edwards is getting his stuff. Sam Parrish is doing his thing. Tanner Walton's really kind of the glue guy there. Just kind of a small forward guy who just does all the dirty work for them. But I think, that boys team, they should be able to win the 10th. Although Mason and Campbellsville always give them problems, right? Or is it which Campbell is it? Campbell County? I got to remember which Campbell it is. But they always give them problems in the 10th. But if they win the 10th, they should and get a good draw. They should make it to the finals. Now on the girls' side, yep.
Hold on. I got a special guest. Do you mind hanging out with us for 3 more minutes? I think you might want to talk to this coach.
That's fine.
All right. Coach Thacker, what's going on, Coach?
What's going on?
How you doing,
Coach?
Doing good.
Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, going into this, you have to be the favorite again. You just keep reloading, Coach. How are you doing this?
Well, I don't know that we're the favorite. I think we're blessed enough to have a bunch of kids to replenish the fold with because of our middle school program,
I say it sounds like Lou Holtz, y'all. Don't it sound like Lou Holtz?
But no, we have some kids that's kind of waited in the wings that we knew were halfway decent. And they've taken full advantage of that opportunity. And this team is fun to coach. It really is.
I think that there's something to be said for being there and doing that. And you've been there and done that for a long time. And your kids have a lot of confidence in themselves and a lot of confidence in what you're asking them to do. And I think that carries you a long way.
Well, Jared, I'll say that the one thing that's lost in high school sports these days is continuity. And that continuity of a coaching staff that the administrators and the parents let stay for a long time pays dividends. And I don't care what program it is throughout the state, probably the ones that have the most stability are the ones that are really thriving.
Well said, Coach. Well said.
Well, Coach, like I said, you don't rebuild, you just reload year after year, Coach. Down there in Franklin County, led by Nevaeh Carter and scoring at 12.1 points a game, and Patience Lashler, which Jared talked about. How important those young ladies, and who else are you leaning on this team here?
Well, both those kids have started for us pretty much since they were in 8th grade. Wow. So they've both played in a lot of big games on a lot of big stages. And they're really, really good players. And they've both stepped up in different times and big moments for us. But this year, they've really gotten to show what they're capable of because it's their team. And there's no doubt whose team it is. It's those 2 kids' team. And then, Jasmine Chambers is a kid that we didn't have last year that was all region as a sophomore and then tore ACL last year. And then she reclassified to be a junior again this year. And she's our third leading scorer. She's our best athlete. She really sets the tone for everything we do defensively. And then our two post kids, Javen Mead and Juliana Frazee, are both, 6'2", 6'4". If we can get a double-double out of them every night combined, a lot of people don't really have an answer for them if they play well. And then our bench, we had a freshman come off the bench the other night, hit 5 3-pointers, have 17 points, Leia Hogan.
That's it.
And then, which Cameron Riddicoff is another freshman that plays off the bench for us. And then Rachel Shropshire is a sophomore, about 6'2", 6'3", comes off the bench for us. But she's been starting lately. And I think she hit 3 or 4 threes the other night against Great Crossing. So she's kind of an inside-out kid. So lot of different combinations that we try to play each night to see what's working against a particular opponent.
You sound like Coach Cal, Coach.
He can coach better than Cal. We ain't got to worry about. He's coach way better.
Oh, we ain't finna do. Don't start that. Don't start that.
Cal. We already know he can coach the talent. He can coach it.
Cal can't call offensive plays for a football team like Coach Thacker can.
Hey, who you tell?
Hey, man, we're going to stay on track. Coach, man, going into this tournament, is there anything that, just kind of maybe you're worried about or concerned with about this team going into this tournament?
Well, I don't really know. We have some kids that have never really been on the stage that we're getting ready to try to compete on. I guess we'll know tomorrow night. But a lot of those kids that you all talked about that have kind of waited in the wings, they haven't been battle tested this time of the year. So the unknown still worries you a little bit, but you hope that the schedule that we play prepares us for times like this, because our schedule has always been top notch. I had a teacher in the building send me a text the other day, which makes me really wonder what he's doing at work. But he said that the winning percentage of the teams that we had lost to this year was 88%. So, I know the RPI says what it says on the KHSEA, but I'm pretty proud of who we've played and who we've competed against, even on the nights that we've come up short.
Coach, you were supposed to play Bryan Station in the midseason, and that got snowed out. You're wishing you would have got that game in?
I do. I always think it helps, and I don't know if Serena would say the same thing, but I think she would.
Oh, I said you would.
I just we've always played Bryan Station. We went through a stretch. I think we drew them 7 years in a row in the regional tournament at one time. So I finally fired that guy from going to the draw and got somebody else. But we got him a Cracker Barrel gift card and told him thank you for your service, but we know she's done an exceptional job. Man, you can't even – those kids, they play hard, they're organized, they've played a good schedule. They're in a situation where they've got a lot of young kids that are getting quality experience, and they've got a lot of young kids that have a lot of skill that they're just scratching the surface with.
Yeah, I mean, their record's at 500, but they were 7-1 in district, and that district was no joke this year. Anybody in that district could have won a game any given night. So for them to be 7-1 in district and how hard they play exceptionally hard. So I was looking forward to how they're going to match up with you tomorrow night.
Yeah, I probably have a few films on them, and I will say that there's probably about 15 total possessions in a lot of those films that change 4 or 5 wins for them. So, that, and you get, we talk about the game slows down in March. It really does. And that'll make a big difference. It really will.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach, and good luck. Anybody got anything else, man?
Coach, before you leave, do we need a shot clock, Coach? Do we need a shot clock, Coach?
I tell you, I did a little research on that, and I went back and I watched 11 of our state tournament games during COVID. Okay, and of the 11 games that I watched when I was extremely bored, I think there were only 9 possessions that a shot clock might have affected. Now, that's the state tournament. So I think it's coming, but I don't think we necessarily need it. But perception is reality, and I think the perception at the higher level is that we need it in high school. And I'm not telling you that we don't need it in some places, but I don't know that we need it from a uniform perspective.
Looking forward to you getting that volunteer for that job.
Well, I tell people all the time, if our clock keeper calls in sick, we may have to cancel the game. So I don't know what we do with shock.
Coach Thacker, man, it's always great talking to you. Good luck on the rest of the season.
Man, it's glad to see you on the mend. I tell you had a lot of people praying for you, and I'm glad you're back at it. I really am.
Coach, I appreciate y'all praying for me. It's good to be back. So be sure that my nurse over here was tough on me.
Yeah,
but
hey, whatever it takes, my man, whatever it takes.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
All right. And Jared, Professor Peck, we want to thank you, man. We'll be looking forward to you at some of these games, especially EKU. Keep doing big things, man. We appreciate everything you do for high school sports in the area.
Yeah, thanks, guys, for having me on. I mean, highlights coming from HL Preps this week, stories on Kentucky.com. If it's a great game, I'm going to have it. So looking forward to the next 3 weeks. It's going to be great.
Sports guru of all things high school sports in the state of Kentucky. Who's your favorite baseball state championship? Who's your favorite?
Baseball. No. You ain't getting that out of me. You ain't getting that out of me right now. No.
Hey, Jared, appreciate you, man. I'm just seeing where you was. See how far ahead you was.
All right. What'd you ask me football?
Man, we could go on and on about the football. We've had some interesting dilemmas around here. We're going to have a show just for football, Jared.
Bro, that's another show.
Yeah.
Well, you got this open transfer rule now, I guess, right?
No, that's not a rule yet. That's not a rule yet.
Okay, they've been trying to
panic. Don't you start any panic. But I'm completely for it. Let's go. Let's go.
Man, they transferring anyway, dude.
I won't turn the Wild West, just city kids all
They transferring anyway.
Wild West. You know who doesn't have the Wild West? The people who don't do their paperwork right. Everybody else has got the Wild West.
Exactly.
Exactly. Man, appreciate you joining us. Thank you, Jared.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach,
hold up. Before we go, man, I want to give a shout out to a young man, Justin Perez, his dad, Javier Perez. He's an offensive lineman. He used to play for the Lexington Ravens. Now he plays for Louisville Chargers. This past weekend, he went down to Atlanta. He got picked for the Under Armour.
Playing Pee-wee football?
Coach, hold on, Coach. I give my guy a shout out. He got picked for the All-American team. He'll be on that team next year. Shout out to him for getting picked. The Lexington kid. Shout out to Gary Holman's son. He went down and tried out. Didn't make it this year, but keep working, young man. But shout out to Justin Perez.
So this was like a combine?
Yeah, it's a combine. We got picked to be on the All-American team for Under Armour for next year.
Okay.
For 8th grade next year. So shout out to that young man and his dad.
Big things, man.
We have to have him on soon.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Bew, man, hey, I think we hit the districts, the region pretty good. I think this was a good show, man. Thank y'all for joining us.
So before we leave, I got to give Coach Struck a shout out because I ain't gonna lie, that last one you hit me with was a shocker. I'm looking, I ain't got no paperwork. I got to get my notes right. That was a shocker. Hey, Coach, hats off to you. You pull what up. You know what? That was good. I'm like, wow, that's a good pickup, Coach Thacker there. Man, Coach, you had a lot of great guests on. Coach Moseley, man. It was a great show. Coach Wilson, Coach Jared always. Man, Coach, it was an action-packed show.
Yeah. Well, man, y'all, go ahead, close us out, Coach.
Man, y'all can catch this up on YouTube later on tonight. I guess it'll be up there. But you get on there and watch this. We're going to do these every once in a while. Coach is getting his itch for live stream stuff. Yeah. I got to watch my vocabulary stuff. So, Coach, I got to start getting the mute button somewhere around here. But, hey, as always, just be a living donor. I'm Coach Bew, my man, Coach TB, favorite Kevin Man's on assignment. Coach Truck, anything else?
Peace.
Thank y'all.